for what this week's going to be like when it comes to pro days and things like that?
Yeah, Coach Calhoun just told our whole group today, a lot of us, myself, through the knee, Jay Sean's had a tough injury himself. Uh, Jay Will with the Achilles, Devonta with the ACL. Pop is probably one of the toughest football players I've ever been around. Jermaine Johnson has gone through the JUCO ringer, and AP's played at like 8 different schools. So, we're all truly not supposed to be here, but we are. And I feel like everybody showcasing their talents tomorrow has an opportunity to play in the NFL. So it's exciting for all of us. And, we're not supposed to be here, so we're just going to go out there and let it rip and have fun.
Aslan?
Mackenzie, when you're going through your rehab, I'm sure you kind of had to tell yourself that you were never going to let yourself think about not being able to play football again. Are you going to have to sort of attack pro day in these coming weeks the same way where you can't let it enter your mind that maybe you won't be able to play in the NFL?
I'm just looking for an opportunity. If it happens, that's great. If not, I'm not going to get discouraged about, if I don't get an opportunity, whether it's drafted, undrafted free agent, all I need is an opportunity is what I'm saying. So if I get that, that's great. If not, there's plenty of other opportunities to play football. Like I said, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't feel like I could still play at a high level. And I feel like I can. I still feel like I have a lot of room to grow and a lot of room to get better. And, I feel confident in myself going out there and showcasing what I can do. But even more than that, I feel confident in myself to still perform at a high level when it's 11 on 11.
Corey Clark?
Yeah, Mackenzie, I don't know how much attention you paid to spring practice for Florida State, but it seems like Tate is taking a big jump. What did you see from him the year you were with him, and what kind of potential do you think he has?
Yeah, we got to check out the scrimmage on Saturday, and Tate looked great, Jay Trav looked great, AJ looked great. I think that just the whole team just physically looks like bigger, faster, stronger. And, it's year 3 now, so they all kind of have a better understanding of what the expectations are and what their assignments are. They still got room to grow, but just being on the sideline this past Saturday, it's a different feel. And I think there's more of a sense of urgency that it's go time. And, I believe they'll take care of business this year.
Aslan?
Mackenzie, do you think you'll always kind of have an involvement in the college game? Obviously your legacy is of all the great stuff that you did on the field, but it seems like even if you move past this, you're sort of working NIL might be something that's going to kind of continue to carry on. Is that something that you're going to want to be sort of thought about and held consideration for?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Drainfield, our NIL company, is, we haven't even hit a year yet with the start of our company, and it's going great, and we're doing great things for the athletes. And I always have some level of involvement there, whether it's the NIL, coaching. I was telling Coach Calhoun yesterday, I love college ball just because the locker room. There's nothing like it. The brotherhood in that aspect. You really get to grow with these guys, especially the class you come in with and all that. So I think one way, shape, or another, I'll be involved with both Florida State and UCF just because they've gave me tremendous opportunities to one, play, and two, make great relationships.
Aslan?
Russell Wilson's a guy who played for 2 different programs before he ended up going to the NFL, and he kind of gives both of them a shout out when you hear him on Sunday night intros. If you're able to fulfill your goal of making the NFL and you have to introduce yourself, how are you going to present yourself?
I'll either shout out both schools or I'll shout out my high school. I take a lot of pride where I come from, Mililani, Hawaii. I think more. I just take a lot of pride in coming from Hawaii and Central Oahu. So I've thought about that before. I kind of think I might shout out my high school just because that's who really made me who I am today. That upbringing in Hawaii. So stay tuned for that one.
Anything else for Mackenzie?
Thank y'all.
Recording in progress.
All right, first question is going to be from Matt Marshall with Orlando Sentinel.
Jermaine, I wanted to ask, how was the combine experience for you? What did you take from it? And what was said to you maybe, from the scouts? What did they like about your game and all?
It was an awesome experience, man. Like, no one in my family has done anything like this, or really someone I'm remotely close to. So being able to go there and experience that is a blessing. It was a long week, but it was fun, and, I got to be around some of the, best guys in my class to do it. So it's just awesome to be around that environment and be in the NFL and talking to all these teams. It's something you dream of. So it was an awesome experience. I took a ton from it. But they just liked, films. Film speaks for itself for the most part, and, to them I played really well. And obviously we talked about some things I can get better at. And but as far as they're concerned, I kind of got it all going for me. I just, the story of everything with me, just go back it up when time comes, and that's what I intend to do.
Brendan?
Kind of following up on that, Jermaine, just the past year since you came to Florida State, you went from being a part-time starter at Georgia to being a full-time starter, team captain at Florida State, and then Senior Bowl, Combine, just senior draft stock rise. I guess how surreal or I guess crazy has the last year been for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. It's been pretty wild. But one thing I always kind of tried to keep with me this year was, everything I can control, I'll put in my hands and I'll take care of. But everything outside of that, I put in God's hands, and He allowed me to focus that much more and be able to do what I've done this past year, both on and off the field. So I just focus on what I can control, what I can't. I put in God's hands, and everything happened the way it happened.
Ben Meyerson?
Hey, Jermaine. It seems like the Senior Bowl was really a huge part of your draft process. You even shut yourself down kind of early in the week. What was that experience like? And then did you notice any difference in what you were hearing from teams before and after that? And what was that Senior Bowl like overall?
It was awesome. I went there because I wanted to prove I could do what I do against anybody, and in this case, the best of the best. And I think I did that, and, and other people think I did as well. But like I said, just controlling what I can control, how I play, my effort, the plays I make, how badly I beat people, those are things I can control. So I tried to control that the best I could. But as far as narratives and projections and all that other stuff goes, I can't control that. I can control, how I work.
Matt?
Jermaine, you mentioned this a little bit earlier on your comments. What would this all mean? I know you still got process to go with Pro Day this week and going obviously into the draft, but what would this mean to you? What would this mean to your family to hear your name called, be drafted, to get to the NFL? Just come and talk a little bit about what that experience would be like for your family.
I have no idea. It would be pretty wild, but I know once it is called, it's it's that mountaintop experience, right? And then you're gonna enjoy it. I'll make an effort to enjoy it as much as I can, but I'm always a job not finished kind of guy. So I'll take it in and then, look at the next mountain to climb. But it'll definitely be awesome, and, we'll all enjoy it and look back at all the sacrifices we've made in order for me to get here, because it wasn't just a Jermaine Johnson effort, right? I have a team behind me, a support system behind me, and we all sacrificed a lot for me to be here. So we'll enjoy that, but, job will definitely not be finished.
Kurt?
Hey, Jermaine, I know you did the 40. I don't know if you did the full array of drills at the Combine. What are you doing tomorrow? And I guess where do you think, if you're, depending on what you're doing, where do you think you can improve?
Right. I'm just benching tomorrow. Taking it pretty easy in terms of the on-field drills and stuff. Me and my team don't see the reason to risk it. But I'm just benching, and I'm really excited to go out there and cheer on my teammates, because that's awesome. This is an experience, and we've all been training the same and working our butts off the same. So I'm just excited for me to go out there and do what I do, and my teammates to go out there to do what they do, and I'll be cheering them on every step of the way.
Corey Clark?
Yeah, Jermaine, I was just wondering, out of sheer curiosity, do you pay attention to mock drafts?
No, I think that stuff is rat poison. I don't like to look at it. If my agent wants to look at that stuff, he can, but I don't look at it. I keep my head down and I work and I train. Same thing as I was at Florida State. You can get hype or whatever. I never paid attention to that. I was focused on being the best teammate I could, and in this case, I'm focused on keep my head down and doing things right off the field, so that when time comes, I'm ready.
Carter?
Jermaine, got a Florida State question for you. Defensive line coming back. Who do you think is poised to have a big year this coming season?
I think the unit as a whole, to be quite honest, those guys, they work well together. They're that backbone on the defense, and definitely when things are going right up front, the game will probably be much easier. So I think those guys, they got a strong hold. And I've been at a couple practices. I've been lifting with the guys, and the chemistry is there. And not only that, but they're actually they're improving their skill sets as well. So I'm just excited to see all those guys go out there and play as a cohesive unit and see the results.
Ben Meyerson?
Hey, Jermaine, we're about a month away from the draft now. Do you have any official plans on what you're going to be doing that first day? You want to go in person or anything like that?
Yeah, I plan, on going to the draft. Like I said, nobody in my family has done anything like this, so it's going to be an awesome experience. And just to go there, I'm probably going to have to fly out that night or day after I get drafted, but it's still an awesome experience, and it's going to be one you remember forever. So I think I want to go, and my family is going to enjoy that. And I'm setting up a watch party back home in Minnesota for all my friends, family, loved ones to go. It's just celebrate it, because I came from there, and it's in a bowling alley right in the middle of my hometown. So I think I'll have a ton of loved ones there watching, bowling, doing whatever, supporting me. So it's awesome. Even though I'm going to have, 4 to 6 tickets, whatever it is, I know I'm going to have a crazy array of loved ones and supporters back home cheering me on.
Corey?
Yeah, Jermaine, I was wondering, you hear all these stories when people projected as high as you about background checks and talking to people in your life.
Right.
Have you heard from former teachers and coaches and friends and family about teams contacting them?
Yeah, I think teams go, as far back as to middle school, So, they definitely do their homework, and it's smart on their end. It's an investment. They got to make sure, the guy is who he says he is, and in this case, make sure that these people can back that up. So, yeah, they go pretty deep into it, and they definitely know things that you're like, how did you know? But, it's their jobs, and, they're doing them well. So, yeah.
Aslan?
Sounds kind of weird, Jermaine, so I apologize in advance. But back in June, my buddy came to visit me in Tallahassee. He played Division I Power 5 ball, and we went out to dinner.
Right.
And I think you and your mother might have actually ended up sitting down next to us, and he was kind of like eavesdropping in on your conversation back in June. And you were talking about how you wanted to have this done by November. You want to know where you're going to go train for the combine to get ready for the NFL draft on this sort of date. And then you go and have this all ACC season. You're being mocked. I know it's rat poison or whatever, but just how cool is it that life works out the way you had it planned out all along?
Well, God is great, and people say if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans, because it never goes directly according to plan. And I couldn't have told you I would win awards and have the stats I did. I just kept the main thing, and that was being the best teammate I could and serving in any way I could. So I don't know what all was said in the conversation, but I like to keep that stuff as far away and just keep my mind focused on what's in front of me.
Matt?
Jermaine, I know a lot of scouts and GMs like to ask questions during the combine. Was there an unusual one that maybe stumped you a little bit, that they threw your way, that kind of stood out to you?
Not really. They were all pretty standard. There was nothing really crazy like you hear in those stories, but it was all pretty standard, and it was an awesome process.
Brendan?
Jermaine, can you kind of go over your journey to Florida State. So you went through the JUCO route. How did you go to JUCO initially? Given your skill set, why JUCO route initially, then Georgia, then FSU? I guess, what did you learn along each stop along the way?
Right. I've told this a million times in this process. But no, I went the junior college route directly out of high school. I was a non-qualifier. And then I got qualified in junior college. I did 18 months there, got my AA degree with a 3.3 GPA. And then I was essentially able to choose anywhere to play football in the country. Chose Georgia, would still make that decision. I'm the player and person I am today because of my time there. So I played at Georgia for 2 years and then made the decision to come to Florida State. Like I've expressed before to the media, because mainly Coach Norvell. He's got this program on the right track, and I think people will see that pretty soon, and if they haven't already. But Coach Norvell, he told me what he wanted me to do and what he expected me to do, and I kind of took that challenge and opportunity and I ran with it.
Ben?
Jermaine, obviously the NFL Combine is the ultimate job interview for players who are coming up. So what kind of nerves did you have kind of going into that Navy? And then what was that process like talking to all those teams?
I didn't really have too many nerves, to be quite honest. I always feel like I belong among the best of the best. So I wasn't really too nervous. Like I said, I know my film looks good, and I know who I am as a person. So I went in there pretty comfortable. But it was just one of those experiences that you were excited and you'll remember forever, because not everyone gets to do that. For sure, not everyone gets to do that. So me and Jay Sean were able to experience that and put on for Florida State University.
Carter?
Jermaine, you mentioned how you've been to a couple practices, seem to be hanging around Tallahassee a little bit. I'm wondering if maybe just why you've wanted to do that, and just how much Florida State has meant to you, and how they were able to have such an impact on you despite you only being here for a year.
Right. This is my family. This is my home. My life is forever changed because of Florida State, and even though I'm not a player here anymore, I'm still going to invest as much as I can, serve as much as I can, especially while I'm here. I've always been like that. So, as hard as it is for me to, not have pads on out there and still be out there with the guys, I know just being out there, is enough for me. And any way that I can help or motivate or do anything in that sort to the team, I'm gladly, willing to do so. So it's just one of those things that, I'm getting more in return than I'm giving, truly. It makes me happy being around the family, the guys, and, I hope it makes them happy too, because, I definitely have a smile on my face.
Matt?
Jermaine, Mackenzie just a little bit ago said this group of guys going to pro day tomorrow, you guys all came from different paths and had to face different challenges to get there. You almost weren't going to expect it to be here.
Right.
What's it going to be like tomorrow to get on the field, even though you're only doing a little bit, but getting on the field and watching these guys compete and have an opportunity maybe to go to the NFL?
It's going to be awesome. Like Mackenzie said, we've all kind of been crazy trajectory, crazy routes to get here. So just seeing an opportunity to be able to work out and do things in front of, NFL teams is always awesome. It's something you dream of. So it's just one of those things, like in the moment you got to be like, wow, I'm here. Enjoy it while you're working, right? So it's just sitting back and enjoying it and working and being able to do something that a lot of guys aren't able to do.
Ben?
Jermaine, you were at Georgia before you were at FSU, and you were with a really impressive group of guys along that defensive line. They were all kind of showing out in their own way at the Combine.
Right.
When you reflect back on that, what will you remember about that group? And what's it like to see all those guys kind of going through this process, doing really well,
Right.
And guys coming in the future too from that room?
Right. Those are my brothers. They know that. I went to the Senior Bowl with a couple of them, a few of them, and it was like nothing ever changed. Like we're at practice at Georgia again. So, we got a tight bond that'll never be broken. And doing what they did at the Combine and doing the numbers that they were doing, I wasn't really surprised. Those guys are freaks. I practice with them, and most of all, they're good people. So we're locked in for life, just like my brothers here. So I'm proud of them, and I know they're proud of me.
Carter?
Jermaine, when you decided to transfer, what were kind of the qualities you saw in Florida State that led you not just to transfer there, but to believe that you could take that risk of, the impact you had at Georgia and translating it to being in this featured role at Florida State?
To be quite honest, I just prayed on the decision. It was a big decision, and like I said, I put everything I can't control in God's hands. So I prayed on it, and then, I woke up the next morning, pretty confident in the decision I wanted to make, and that was coming to Florida State. So that was enough for me, and obviously I talked to Coach Novell, and, everything lined up that way. But it was, it wasn't really the hardest decision. I just kind of knew it when I heard it and slept on it and prayed about it, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Thanks, Jermaine.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. All right, we've got Andrew Parchman here. If anybody has questions for him, we'll get started. All right, Corey Clark.
Yeah, Andrew, I was just wondering, are you planning on doing everything tomorrow in pro day? And what do you think a good day in these drills, and then also catching passes from Mackenzie, can do for you as you move forward in your career?
For me, first thing first, I'm just excited to be here, excited for the opportunity to showcase my skills, and I'm quite sure my teammates feel the same exact way, to get an opportunity to play at the next level. For me, I'll be participating in everything. I'm very excited to show the scouts how fast I am, how strong I am, and how well I can run routes. So I'm very excited. Also, it's going to be my last time catching footballs from Mackenzie. Well, hopefully it's not. Hopefully we can catch some balls at the next level as well. But just excited to be out there inside the indoor facility in Florida State with my guys for the last time. I'm very excited for that.
Chris Nee.
Andrew, what have you been doing to prep for this, as far as who have you been working with and what kind of work you've been putting in?
As soon as the clock hit 0 in Gainesville, I shot right back down to South Florida. I was working out with my trainer, Gold Feet, and also working out at my training facility, Perform with Nick Hicks. I've just been working every single day since December, just grinding, just getting ready for my opportunity to showcase what type of player I am.
Chris, did you have another question?
No, I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Aslan?
Andrew, you've been able to play football at many different programs during your college career. Did any place feel like home, and what sort of memories will you take away from playing college at your various, institutions?
For me, I'm blessed to say I feel like every single place felt like home. I feel like I can always go back to any place that I was at. Met great people, and great people was always surrounded around me. For me, I'm just gonna always cherish the connections, the friendships, the brotherhood, not only with my teammates, but also with my coaches, with the support staff and everything. This is a lifelong friendship that I built here, even at Florida State in my quick 6 months. So I'm excited for what the future holds.
Carter?
Andrew, you kind of touched on this, but obviously Florida State has taken quite a few transfers under Norvell. And I'm just curious, as a transfer and just what you saw from some of the other transfers that were in your class and even before you, what makes it maybe easier or makes that transition easy at Florida State in particular? Is there anything that is within the program or just from the coaching staff that makes that transition easy to come into Florida State and feel kind of at home right away?
Well, it's Florida State. I feel like no matter where you are in the country, growing up, you know what that spirit and that know represents. That represents the top class athletes. You know what I mean? So just understanding what type of environment that you're getting yourself into, understanding where you're gonna go play at. And also, too, just if you look around at all the transfers that came in, they're all dogs and all number one at where they were before. So you understand that you got to come in and compete right away. And that's what I felt like I did from the moment I stepped on campus.
Corey?
Yeah, Andrew, they brought in 4 transfer receivers this year, but unlike you, they came in the spring.
Yeah.
Looking back, and I know some things are outside of your control, but how beneficial would it have been to get a whole spring in the Florida State system instead of just kind of being thrown in August?
Yeah, man, it probably would have been a lot beneficial, but at the same exact time, man, you look back at the fall camp and probably around practice 2, practice 3, I was already running with the 1. So just things didn't go out my way. How I wanted and how I planned it, just like Jermaine previously said, tell God your plans and He'll laugh at you. So for me, God had a different road for me to take other than my peers. But I'm blessed the same exact way. I wouldn't want to be in anybody else's shoes. And I'm just excited for tomorrow and show everybody what type of player I am.
Anything else for AP? All right, well, that's it.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right, our next player is Emmett Rice, and Chris, we'll start with you.
Hey, Emmett, just wanted to reflect on last year a little bit. Obviously, the injury really hindered you. 1, how healthy are you? When did you feel like you were back to your old self? And 2, how has the draft process gone for you to this point in time?
It's good to see you too. I would say I'm 100% right now, and I started feeling healthy probably like a couple of weeks after the Tropical Bowl. So I was healthy during the Tropical Bowl, but I'm really starting to feel like myself once again. So that's good, and just this process, it's been if I'm being honest, it's been quite tedious, because you're actually training for just specific things versus actual football practice, doing different things at football practice, versus this is just specifically doing the same drills over and over, perfecting them, fine-tuning. So it's been quite tedious.
Ira?
Hey, and we all saw you working last fall trying to get back on the field.
I guess, how disappointing was that you couldn't get back on the field one more time at Florida State? And then how did you rebound from that and start focusing on the future?
Well, it was really disappointing because I knew how hard I worked during rehab just to get on the field, but that was really it was hurtful because I didn't get to spend that one last game or one last play on the field. But it's just, it's a part of life. You just have to go on and move on and just keep moving forward with everything. So I wouldn't say it wasn't that hard to move on from that process, but it was just something I knew I had to do.
Aslan?
Before the injury, Emmett, heading into spring last season, were you of the mindset that 2021 was going to be your last season in Tallahassee?
Oh, yes, sir. That was the plan. And just with everything that was going on, it was like I was ascending to the mountaintop, ready to just be the best player I could have been. And then I just got injured, so it was just a setback.
Ira?
Man, I'm not sure if we were at practice when you got hurt or when exactly you got hurt. Could you, I hate to revisit it, but how did you get hurt?
Well, I got hurt during, I believe it was a compete period. It was non-contact, and it was the second week of spring, just running down to cover a punt, and then I just went out like a blown tire, non-contact.
Ira?
Did I guess as far as getting back to full speed and competing tomorrow, do you have any kind of goals in mind for what you want to do at Pro Day? Are you going to do all of the events and kind of what's your mindset going into it?
Well, mindset is just I will be doing every event, and my mindset is just be the best me, just trust my training. I know I prepared good for this, and I should be doing well tomorrow.
Anything else for Emmett? All right. You all set?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
In progress.
All right, our next player up is Devonta Love-Taylor. And Chris, we'll start with you.
Hey, Devonta, just want to find out, one, are you completely healthy? I know you battled a lot of different ailments last year. And two, have you shed some weight, changed your body some in this process?
Yes, this is the most healthy I've been probably since pre-COVID. And I've shed about 15 pounds, just getting that season weight off and getting back in, top training form.
Ira?
Man, could you just kind of take us back through last season, especially because it seemed like, you're coming back from an injury, and it just seemed like you could never kind of get over the hump to get totally healthy, but you kind of had to keep playing to help the team. What was that like?
It was frustrating at times, but I don't regret it at all. I'd do anything. Some people say that they'll do anything for their team to win or help their team win, and I believe I showed that. And if I go back in time, I do the same thing. It was frustrating at times, but getting those wins, especially towards the end of the year, they're worth it. Those pushing through that pain on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday makes that joy worth it Saturday night.
Ira?
What kind of position drills do they do for offensive linemen at a pro day, or do you know? And is guard and tackle the same type of thing? Do you have a mindset of what you're trying to do in terms of impressing scouts?
I've seen a bunch of different drills at different pro days. I've seen the one at Nebraska, which I don't know if y'all have seen that, but that drill was crazy. I think they had the guy backpedaling, karaoke, and then straight into frog leaps. Then I seen like a pulling drill where you're picking up a towel. I've seen basic blocking drills. Everything I've seen from previous pro days, I've done at least once or twice just to be prepared for it. And I've done some center drills, mostly guard drills. I don't think they're going to have me work out any tackle. So,
Bob?
Hey, Devonta, I hope you're doing well. I know you said you may not be working out a tackle, but how much can your versatility, a guy who's played some guard, a little bit of tackle, you may be able to snap two for a team, how much can that help an NFL team that has got a 53-man roster and they need a guy who's versatile like you?
It can help a lot, just being one guy that could play up to 5 positions will help a lot. And, the best ability is availability. So being able to play many different positions, if they're choosing between me and a guy who can only play tackle or a guy who can only play center, I think I'll have the upper leg.
Ira?
Hey, Matt, you talked about those wins late last season. If you could reflect on the big picture, I know when you came in and, several of the other guys who came in as transfers were trying to help turn the program around. How do you feel like you guys left it, and what do you think is it, where do you think it's going in the future?
The culture from when I got here in January 2020 and left last December was night and day. The buy-in over time, you just see it, you feel it in the locker room. Guys go from showing up late to checking guys for not being 15 minutes early, just stuff like that. And it's those little things you see happening over a period of time. And the culture now, just walking around the guys, hearing how they talk about each other, it's growing every day. And, I felt like we left it way better than we found it.
Ira?
I also want to ask you about Coach Atkins getting promoted offensive coordinator. When you heard that, how did you feel, and what did you see from him as a position coach that made you think, being a coordinator was something in his future?
I was really happy for him. He deserves it. He's just a guy. He brings the same energy every day. He's such a consistent person. He's coaching the same whether we're up 40, down 40, it doesn't matter. And just the way he cares about players, now more than just the offensive line is going to be able to see and benefit from how he coaches. Now he's involved with the whole offense. He's going to be able to interact with all the positions. And playing for somebody that you care about and that cares about you makes a lot of a difference.
Aslan?
Hey, Devonta, going through the process of hiring an agent, was that a fun or an anxiety kind of riddled process for you? What did you ultimately try to look for when you were talking to prospective agents?
It was kind of stressful, but my process went into like who kept in contact with me when I did suffer the injury in 2020, you know, because a lot of guys, they're just like, they see what happens, they know what it is, and they're like, all right, well, we don't want to talk to this guy anymore. But, you know, it's kind of a stressful process, especially like I love playing football. You know, I don't really like the business side of football, you know, which I know that's not smart to say because the NFLs have business, but, you know, I just love playing football. So it was a stressful process, but I'm glad I got my guy and I'm good.
Anything else for Devonta? I think we're good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Be a lot of back end on that one. All right, we've got Keir Thomas here. We will start with Chris Nee.
Hey, Keir, good to see you, man. How disappointed were you that you didn't get the chance to have the NFL Combine experience or Senior Bowl or anything of that sort just to showcase yourself prior to tomorrow?
I mean, I was a little upset, but it wasn't like it didn't stop anything. It gave me a little bit more motivation, but I mean, it is what it is. It happens every year.
Ira?
So what kind of things have you been doing? Where have you been training? I know you've been around here a little bit, but where have you been training? What kind of things have you been working on to get ready for tomorrow?
I was back home. I trained at Perform, a warehouse in Davie, Florida. I just been working on all the stuff that we're gonna test on tomorrow, all the different position drills, things of that nature.
Aslan?
Here, I don't know if getting recruited out of high school helped you kind of figure out how you wanted to be recruited as a transfer and how going through the process of that twice might have helped you ask the questions you wanted to from the agents that you ended up picking out. How did maybe being recruited twice as a college athlete, how did that help you maybe figure out the way you wanted to recruit an agent to work for you?
Well, that it's two different things, you know. So, but I just knew that I wanted somebody who's gonna work hard for me, you know, put the same effort I'm gonna put in on the field, off the field for me. So, I mean, it wasn't as hard as some people make it seem.
Ira?
What's it been like, you know, I mean, you and Jermaine were so kind of considered like a package the whole time you were at Florida State because you guys came in at the same time, both had really good seasons. What's it been like to watch kind of some of the hype he's getting? And I know he's trying to block it out. Are you paying any attention to that? And then what's it been like to watch?
I definitely see pretty much all of it. I mean, he deserved every bit of it. I watch him work hard for it, and like I said, he deserved everything he's about to receive, and I'm happy for him.
Matt?
Here, I want to ask, are you going to participate in all the drills tomorrow, and what do you think that experience is going to be like for you once you finally get on the field there?
Yes, I am. I'm gonna do every drill, and I feel like it's a big day for me. I know I got to test well. I know that's what a lot of teams want to see, how well I'm gonna test. You know.
Ira?
Just following up on that question from Matt, do you feel like because you played so much football in college that they should have a good feeling for what you can do?
I mean, yeah, that's in my opinion. Yeah, I feel like I put a lot of film out there, but the people still want to see me run, bench, move around. So.
Aslan?
Keir, do you think there'll be like a different level of like butterflies you're feeling going into tomorrow versus like on a Friday night sleeping and getting ready for a game day on Saturday? Is it different that it's all going to be just kind of focused on you rather than your teammates around you on a Saturday?
I'm not sure, but I can't say I was tossing and turning a little bit last night. So I don't know. It's kind of like I know I got to do well. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bit different. Rather than on a Saturday. You know, me knowing what I'm going to do, and it's just you preparing for it a little different.
Matt?
Here, is there any advice anyone's given you, or maybe talk with you about what to expect, what to maybe kind of handle some of the questions that may come at you from some of the scouts on the end?
We pretty much went through all this with my agent and things of that nature, but I pretty much did a lot of interviews already, so it's like I kind of know what to expect.
Ira?
You said you paid attention to some of the hype on Jermaine. I know last week we were on a conference call with like Mel Kiper from ESPN, and he said he thought you'd probably be like a 5th round, 6th round guy somewhere in there. Do you pay attention to any of that with yourself? And do you have any kind of goals of where you think you might end up?
Not necessarily. I really, to me, it really don't matter. I'm just trying to get my foot in somewhere, you know, in the best place for me and my family.
Carter?
Keir, what is your relationship like with Jermaine, and what has it been like to kind of go through this process with them?
Me and Jermaine relationship is great. I mean, we grew stronger and stronger each week as the season went on, and it was like no other playing alongside with him. It was a pleasure. We talk about it all the time. It was great.
Ira?
Jared Verse said that the conversations he had with you and Jermaine were helpful when he was picking a school. I was kind of curious, what kind of things were you talking to him about, like Tatum Bethune? The guys that were going through that process and deciding on Florida State, what were you able to tell them about FSU?
I just kept it straightforward with him. I told him my experience from FSU, and I just told Jared what they expect, you know, because we played in the same room. Me and Tatum, we didn't really he reached out to me one time, I want to say before, and asked me about the coaching staff and things like that, and I just kept it real with him, you know. I feel like those guys are going to be a big role, going to play a big role with this team here in the fall. So I'm excited for them.
And I just wanted to follow up on Tatum. Coach Fuller was saying the other day that it didn't take him long to show he belongs at this level. I'm guessing you're not surprised by that. And what do you think he can do for this defense?
Nah, yeah. Tatum, he's special. He's really smart. He plays fast and he plays hard. That's just something. That's just a way Tatum. I knew Tatum for a while. His dad was actually my principal in high school, so I kind of know the type of kid he is, and that's a kid that you want a part on your team. You know, that's a kid you want in the locker room. And I just feel like they hit a home run with him.
Aswan?
Keir, so if this all works out and you find yourself playing on Sunday Night Football one night and you have to introduce yourself, are you shouting out the Rockets, you shouting out the Noles, the Gamecocks? Have you worked through that one yet?
Nah, I didn't. But I haven't thought about it yet.
Anything else for Keir? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Our last player of the day is going to be Jordan Wilson. Anybody wants to get started, we'll go with him. Chris Nee.
Hey Jordan, last season, how long did it kind of take you to feel like your old self in season, and how much has another period of off season and preparation for the draft helped you get even closer to where you want to be from a health and build standpoint?
I'd probably say it took
about, the first 2 or 3 games for me to feel like my old self, just coming off my injury. But I say after that time period came, I was faster, stronger than ever. So I feel like it was a process well expedited.
Ira?
I know when the scouts would come through practices last season, you always seem to catch their attention with your physical size and presence. Have you already had conversations with any teams during this process? I know you didn't get to go to the combine, but do you have any feel for what they want to see when you work out tomorrow?
Well, I've had conversations with teams. My agent's been in contact with a couple teams that are in needs of tight ends, and basically they all know that I'm a great inline blocker. So tomorrow I feel like it'll be of great benefit for me to show how good I am running routes and being fluid in and out of cuts and catching the ball. So I feel like that'll be a big point of emphasis for me tomorrow.
Aslan?
Jordan, what was your approach in finding an agent? Are you looking for a guy that represents a lot of tight ends, a guy that kind of specializes in getting guys looks that might be under the radar? How did that process work out for you?
Well, it's actually kind of funny because the agent that I signed with was actually Eddie George's old agent when he was with the Titans. And it's kind of funny because me and Eddie George went to the same church in Nashville when he was there playing for the Titans. And so I've had the chance, sit down and have some talks with him. So when it came time for me to, select the agent, it was kind of just came full circle. So, he's had a great track record of representing some big-time players such as, Barry Sanders, Jerome Bettis. He's just now getting back in the game, but I feel like he was the right one to go to.
Ira?
Where have you been training since the season ended, and what weight are you at now? Are you the same weight you were when you finished, or have you changed your body at all?
So I was training in Dallas most of my time at Michael Johnson Performance, and I've actually trimmed down a little bit since the end of season. I'm probably around 247, 248 right now. So yeah, I feel like that's a great weight for me to go out there and show my best.
Aslan?
How do you feel, all things considered, Jordan? It's just kind of crazy. You transfer in here, you I don't know if you ruptured or what happened with your Achilles, but Achilles for such a long time has been an injury that really hampers guys for a long time. But you're able to play, get some more stuff on tape. I mean, just how do you feel overall going into Pro Day tomorrow?
Oh, I feel fantastic. Honestly, I haven't felt this good since my senior year of high school. It's kind of crazy how you brought up how the Achilles tendon injury is just such a tough injury to come back from. But I feel like, if anything, it just gave me a chance to get stronger and faster. And I've come out on top well off than I was before.
Ira?
How good has it been to come back? I know you and Jay Sean have been around a lot, come to some practices. And what have you seen from this team? And can you kind of reflect on how far the program has come in the 2 years you've been around it?
Oh, yeah. It's been kind of surreal coming back with Jay Sean and being around the team and going to practices and seeing how well they have grown since we left. I mean, it's like a well-rounded operation in there. And just watching the offense execute how they have the last couple of practices is very promising.
Anything else for Jordan?